Shishir.
Yeah, Naren, I have already started recording. Please go on.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry for the delay. We'll start.
which go to the screen and see which screen you opened.
This only. You are able to see the PPT, right? Angular session.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, fine. So this is the session 5. I was expecting a little more people, but okay. Anyway, proceed. We are going to cover custom filters and understanding the digest loop, validators, and formatters. Yeah. Before going to that, everybody has understood the concept of scope, right? Everybody understood, right? If anybody still don't have clear idea, please let me know. I'll explain again. Scope, everybody knows, right?
Before you jump into that, so last time we had one practice exercise to be done. Right? Who has not done that?
The date filter is
Date filter is not working.
otherwise some filter is done.
Mhm.
Date filter is not done.
Okay, so let's discuss this after this, and so we'll start with this. And I, as you know, then
मुझे पता चला कि एक्सेल के अब वो मॉड्यूल में बिजी था तो ध्यान नहीं था बोले कि नेक्स्ट टेस्ट करके आओ अभी
so next time please take care of it. Okay, I want it to be finished. Sorry,
It's okay. Okay. So starting with the filter. Filter formats the value of an expression for displaying to the user. I mean, you can see the second line, expression pipeline filter, right? This is the built-in filter. Maybe Devendra have already covered this in previous sessions. Currency is a type of built-in filter. So simply giving 12 pipeline currency will give the $12. So there are a lot of built-in filters like uppercase, lowercase, those kind of stuff. So we are going to see the custom filter, how to create the custom filter first. So Angular exposes a simple API for creating the custom filter. The format is app.filter, filter name, comma, function. The first parameter is the name of the filter, what we are going to use. And the second parameter is the function which actually does the work of the filter, what we are going to do. Okay. Okay, and just to brush up this, two-way data binding, the knowledge of two-way data binding is a must before going to this. In a simple words, we can say, what is the two-way data binding? When you change something in the view, the scope model automatically updates. I can't move this. Okay. So when the scope model changes, the view updates itself with a new value. This is the main advantage of Angular. So the pictorial representation you can see here. So when the view changes, model updates. When the user types something, the ng model which is attached to that will change here and update the model. And in the script, if we change some value in the model, it will update the view value in the HTML. This everything is, everybody is clear in that, right? Yeah. Coming to the main part, how this is happening. First, we will cover the PPT, okay, and then I will go every topic one by one. Filter, you got little idea what is filter. We will go in code. So how this is happening? There is something called watch list. Okay. See, I have a controller. In that controller, I have scope.name, scope.age, many model values. Okay. What are the values available in the scope? will be added to the watch list of that scope. There will be list called watch list. It will be created by Angular within its context. So that watch list will be triggered every time. Is there any changes is there happening? When the user changes the name in the view, the model gets update. Okay, so there is a change here. So there is a concept called dirty checking. Okay, this is not specific to Angular. It's a common technology used in game engines and all. Dirty checking. It will be keep checking whether the previous value is equal to the current value. Okay, if something is changed, something has to happen like that. So when you write an expression within the curly braces, whatever, behind the scenes, Angular sets up a watcher on the scope model, which in turn updates the view whenever the model changes. So adding watch explicitly. This is in the code we can add the watch explicitly. Say for example, we have a variable name, ng model as a name. Okay, so that is available in the controller, right? $scope.watch name, that is should be given in the single quotes. We can watch any specific model using this $watch. Okay, this is the built-in service of Angular $watch. So it uses the same watch to check the values when the dirty checking happens. Okay, so this is a simple syntax, scope.$watch whatever. The second parameter is called a listener function. This listener function will be having two parameters, new value and old value. Okay, and whatever we want to update we can give inside. Okay, so how does Angular figure out when to call this listener function? It can't keep on calling every time, right? It will be a memory issue. So when it has to actually call the listener function, if we specifically give the watch, it will call that time. But on its own, when it has to actually call, does it run a function periodically to check whether the value of the scope model has changed? It can't periodically, I mean frequently it can't check, right? But at some events. So this is where the digest cycle plays an important role. Okay, digest loop. Okay, Angular extends normal browser flow to create an Angular context. Just remember this word Angular context. I will explain you later what when coming to the second part. So whatever happens within the framework of Angular can handle, that's Angular context. Okay. Okay, the Angular context refers specifically to code that runs inside the Angular event loop, referred to as digest loop. You understand more if you go to the next. Okay. In Angular, because of the implementation of the data binding, the model can be treated as single source of truth in the application. This is nothing but just explaining the model should hold its own single value. Okay. When the model is modified, the digest must be invoked to propagate the possible changes throughout the application or views. This is very important. So when something changes, I mean the model changes, the Angular internally triggers a loop, digest loop. You might be confused what is watch, watch list and digest. When we see the pictorial representation, you will understand. I'll show you that. Just remember this. Digest is a loop. Watch list is a list of models. Okay, what it has. Okay, the digest cycle keep looping until there are no more model changes or it hits the maximum count of 10. At least within 2-3 loop itself, it will get the latest value of all the models throughout the application. Okay, else the maximum hit will be 10 loops. If it crosses the 10 loops, Angular will throw an exception. Boss, something is happening differently, so it will throw an error exception. Okay, so first we will see the right side diagram. So this is the watch model view. So imagine there is an imaginary controller here which has got a scope. The scope got 3 values. Values are nothing but models, right? Name, age and location, say for example. So this is bound to the view, right? This is how we bound to the view. Scope dot name will be given in the controller, and braces of name will be given in the view. Okay. So whenever the model changes, we will get updated. So this is, this is the watch list actually. The combination of all these models is the watch list, and this total loop is called as a digest loop. Getting me? This total, coming to the root level, if you see, this is the root scope. Okay. So you can have a controller inside a controller. Say a controller B is inside controller A. So there might be root scope. Controller A will be the child of root scope. Controller B will the child of controller A. Getting me right? Root scope, controller A, controller B, like that. Okay, it goes the hierarchy level. The parent-child relationship goes like that. So there is a root scope. So in root scope also there may be some models. So watch is there, and then the child scope. Similarly, another child scope. So basically, internally it has gone its own watch list. Okay. So this entire cycle is called digest loop. This is digest loop within a particular scope, we can say. But actual digest loop happens from the root scope. Getting me? Okay. Any questions from that side? What is this name? Sashi? Shishir. Okay. Are you able to follow?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, what we were asking is dollar digest is a function or what?
Sorry.
Dollar digest is a function or what? Service or what?
Yeah. Dollar digest is a function. Yeah, it's a function which has got Angular has got it internally. But we were explaining about the digest loop. The digest loop get executed when dollar digest is called. Okay. I'll explain you when coming to the next part, in the coding part. It will be clear.
Okay, okay. And again, one more thing: is it does it use is dollar watch as well while using if we are using dollar digest?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now coming to another point, dollar scope dot dollar apply. What is dollar apply? Yeah. So when Angular tries to trigger that digest loop, it never calls directly dollar scope dot dollar digest. Okay, because that can be attached to some particular scope. Every time when the um, framework triggers the digest loop, it will be from root scope only. So it calls this particular function dollar apply. Okay, it won't call dollar digest, it will call dollar apply, which in turn triggers the root scope dot digest. That's what explained here. The cycle starts by calling dollar scope dot dollar apply, which in turn calls root scope dot dollar digest. Okay, so digest cycle starts at the root scope and subsequently visits all the child scopes, calling the watchers along the way. Okay, so when do you call dollar apply manually? Before this part, this is Angular framework handling internally. So sometimes there may be some situation where you need to manually call dollar apply. Okay, I told you that Angular contacts, right? So if sometime we are using some third-party library or something else, we are in a situation to call the dollar apply manually. Otherwise, the model will get updated, but the view will not get updated sometimes. Okay. When seeing the example, you will get a clear understanding. Just remember, dollar apply will be called by Angular framework automatically if some mismatches happen. If there is a situation the code is out of Angular context, we need to call manually. Just remember this. Okay. If you change any model outside of the Angular context, then you need to inform Angular of the change by calling $apply manually. Yeah, the same example we have used in the code also. JavaScript set timeout is there, right? So we will see that in next line. When calling the set timeout, the view will not getting updated. We will see in that example. Yeah.
So everybody understood what is the digest thing?
Yeah, point out. Like $digest is being called from the root scope, right?
Yeah.
Apply is also being called from root scope. So why is that? I mean, two functions.
No, you can start digest loop by calling apply function, and apply is available in all the scopes.
So can't call digest directly.
No, it is not advisable to call digest directly because digest has a chain of functions.
Mm-hmm.
So root scope will trigger it, and then it will call the digest on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember that he has told you that there is a dirty checking mechanism happening, right? So only when there is a dirty checking, when the model is dirty, then only the watchers will be triggered, watcher functions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then only the view will be updated. It will not be that every time Angular keeps on updating the view, right? It's only when there is the model is dirty, means there is some change, okay? Then only it will call that. And that will only happen because it all is a fraction of a second in which the digest loop for that scope has triggered. So you don't have to call that digest loop. It will be called automatically on that scope by the Angular framework. If you need, you can call $apply. Okay? And $apply will do all the necessary checking, and if required, it will invoke the digest loop. If not, it will not invoke the digest loop. Okay? So to be on the safer side, you have to always call $apply, not digest. Okay?
And when you try to call also manually, you need to check a condition, $phase that is there. Maybe if already the loop is happening, it won't allow you to again call $apply. That's also there.
Any other? You understood everything? Okay. Really? Can you explain again what is digest loop?
Awesome.
Explain.
See, in every scope, so it's bound to V1 model. So whenever you change in V1 model, so you should be watch that what happening inside there. So for that there is dirty checking. So if there is a dirty checking, there is watching all the time. So every scope have its own watch. So in context, Angular context, there will be many inside the root scope. There will be many scope. If there inside every scope, there will be watch. So to control this.
If the model is there, watch will be there.
So this controlling this watch actually there is digest. So that is coming from root scope. So in whenever you call this digest method, so it's checking every watch if there are any update should done or not. So sometimes this digest method should not call from our side because if you call it.
No, it's not sometime. Never you should call it. You should call it never. Okay? And one thing that you missed out that basically the watch function is not the cause of digest. Digest will always be happening. Okay? Whenever you put any model on the scope, right? Implicitly you are putting a watcher. Okay, that's why people say that don't put a lot of things on scope. If you don't need to bind it to view, don't put it on scope. Okay, so when you say scope dot something, it is like putting on the scope, and in that case, it is automatically putting up an implicit watcher. Okay, so when the implicit watcher is put up, okay, it comes into the Angular context. Okay, and then the digest loop will take over and figure out how many watch lists are there for that scope, and it will check out the related model if the model has changed. Okay, if the model has changed means that the dirty model has to be again checked out for verification, and if there is a change, then it has to be carried out into the view. Understand? So this is the sequence. Okay. If once you update the view, sometimes it also happens that there is a cyclic redundancy. So you update the view and the view will automatically update the model another one. Okay. Then Angular will give you an error that was there is a cyclic redundancy. Please don't do this. Okay. When you go by Angular provided method, it will not happen. Okay. But when you write plain old JavaScript, you can do that. You can put up a cyclic redundancy. Okay, so Angular checks any changes in the model and it will update the view. Okay, and then it will go further for the different variables in that scope, and all the scopes will be also covered. Okay, and that's why the digest loop starts from the root scope, checking all the scopes. Okay, RFP. It's not that that it will only randomly put up any scope. So child will be built first, and then the parent, and then the super parent, and everyone.
And when digest is called, so it is called for, on the root scope, so it is being called for all the scope, right? It's not like that one scope is for this controller and one scope or digest loop is for this controller. So it will be happening on the root basically, right? It will be the one function.
Right.
Then so the apply dollar after will check this the digest loop is already running or not. So if it is already running, so at that time you don't need to run again apply. So apply is checking that thing.
No, apply is not checking that. There is another function that we need to check manually. Apply is actually safe because it also has got this checking inbuilt. But you can also check it yourself that if phase is digest, then don't run apply. Okay. But apply in its own will also have a check. Okay. Can you ask if there is any doubt?
Shishidhar.
Shishir.
Shishir, any questions from that side?
On digest.
On digest.
Regarding when you told, right, whenever there is a change in model, the DOM is updated.
Yeah.
So the other way, the reverse way, when there is a change in DOM value, how that is reflected up to the model.
Yeah, it triggers the digest cycle.
The same thing happens.
Same thing happens. We will see in an example. I'll show you. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we are running out of time. We'll proceed with the form validation. So Angular has got its own validation concept. So it's the main part where we where we capture the user inputs is the form, right? So Angular monitors the state of the form input fields. It's mainly applied in input, text area, and the select. Controls like this input, select, and text area are ways for user to enter the data. A form is a collection of controls for the purpose of grouping related controls together. Nothing but just capturing the input from the user. Okay. What are the advantages of having the validation? So invalid feedback before submitting the form. We are restricting in client side itself. Something is missing. Better user experience and less burden on the server side. After sending the value and server checks it and boss, your mail ID is wrong or something like that, and returning the format. It's always better to filter it in the front side itself, right? Okay. But still for some secure applications like user ID and password and token authentications, we need the validation from the server side also. Okay, simply we can't depend on the front end validation. So input fields and forms, these two have all these the inbuilt properties to check the validation. So untouched, the field has not been touched yet. If nothing Okay. So in form also we have the same thing, only the submitted is an extra. Okay. Angular provides basic implementation for validation of most common HTML5 inputs for text, number, URL, email, date, radio, checkbox, etc. For directives also, uh, um, we have required pattern, min length, max length, min max. We are not covering everything in the session. Maybe you can Google it and get some idea. Okay, coming to formatters. Okay, dollar formatters. This is available in the controller of each. Okay, basically formatters is an array which is bound to that controller. Okay, so whatever we write in the formatter will be executed when any changes happen in the model. Okay, so we need to display the user in some particular format, the output. We can go for this formatter. The mechanism to be able to format data from model to view so that it's presented in a more human friendly way to the user. Angular uses dollar formatters to achieve this. It's nothing but array of functions to execute as a pipeline whenever the model value changes. Okay. So how we need to execute the formatter is there should be a model. This ng model have the access to the controller. Okay, we will see that in example. Dot dollar formatters dot push. So we have to push the formatter whatever we created in the dollar formatters. Basically, we are inserting it in the framework. That's it. So automatically it will keep watching it. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the code now. Okay. So first thing I explained, right, about filter. These are the custom filter or built-in filter. One second. So I have given in smaller case here, and then pipeline uppercase. Okay. So what happened here? Angular JS is turned into uppercase. I have simply given 50 and currency, pipeline currency. It has given $50. This is the built-in filters provided by Angular. So in the same way, we can create custom filters. Okay. Before going to the code, just go through this the functionality. I'm entering a value from 1 to 10. Okay. So it's multiplied by say some number 1.999, but I don't want the output as having that dot 999 something like that. It should be a rounded output. See, actually it's converting to a round value. Okay, if you see what happening exactly. Okay, before that I'll explain the code here. So I have a div here ng model is sorry, not this one, forgot about this one. This one here.
That is
Sorry.
that's correct one.
Okay, I'm sorry. That is needed actually. Yeah, I have given some meter value here. So it's multiplied by 1.999. If I remove this round, so I'm getting the feedback like this, right? Say 5.9. I don't want this. Simply, I want to round the value. This is a simple filter. What I did exactly nothing. I have created a filter in the once the controller is defined. Okay. Dot filter. I have given the name round. I'm just returning the function. remember we saw that filter has to return a function. Okay, so what's happening inside the function? Nothing but just the value is getting rounded, math.round. That's what happening. Coming to the second one, so whatever I changed here, if it is a even number, I should have a tick mark here. If it is a odd value, I should have a cross mark here. So how this filter is achieved? If you see in the template, I have simply added check mark, pipeline of check mark, the same meter value. Okay, ng model. So what's happened here? I have created a custom filter which is taking the input. Simply I am using the modulo operator to check whether even or odd, and then appending the input with the is even value with the Unicode value simply. So that's what happening here. If you see, 6 is a even value, 7 is an odd value. Okay. Okay, one more scenario. If I enter 1, I am getting first. If I enter 2, it should be 12th th, right? Sorry, second, right? Oh, I'm sorry, maybe it won't applicable for 12th, but if we enter 2, second, right? I have tried only this scenario. If we enter 3, third, fourth, so the output should differ according to the input, right? So how to create the filter for this? So I have created a filter ordinal. So basically some validations, checking what number it is. This is a direct checking, 1 2 3. I'm just appending it, that's it. If we want the output like that, so this name ordinal is added here. Simply removing this will remove the filter. Got the idea, right? What is filter? There is one more filter. Reverse. Whatever you enter, it will reverse. Okay. So basically the logic is we are splitting into an array and reversing it again, and we are joining it and returning the output value. So I have given greeting as hello. So hello is here. No filter. I have applied the filter. If you see here the code, no filter, and reverse. I have applied the reverse filter here, and I am passing some parameter here. See here, reverse true. What is that? So basically I am setting it uppercase. If uppercase is true, simply I am making to uppercase. So that's what happening here. These two are in smaller case. This is in uppercase. Okay. And then this filter is used in controller. We have used reverse in the template, right? How to use in controller in the script? That's what explained here. So I am using this reverse filter. Where it came from? Basically, it should be like the name of the filter. Okay, the name of the filter. Add the letter filter. Okay, so we can inject this filter in the controller. Reverse filter passed in the parameter, and I am passing this scope.greeting. So I am storing that value in the filtered greeting. This is used here. That's it. So you can use the filter in template most of the places, but you can use in the controller script also. Clear? Okay, going to the next part. We will go to digest loop and then come back to validators. I'm going to digest. Let's open. Cool.
Hi.
So yeah.
Is there a way of overriding the inbuilt functions, like inbuilt filters, like currency is there? So currency gives me dollars. So if I want to in euro or something, then probably I'll have to write new currency filter, and name should be currency, or I mean, uh, is there a way
You are
to inbuilt functions, inbuilt filters?
maybe I've not tried it. Maybe we can try and check. To be honest, I mean I think we can able to override it.
Yeah, we can extend.
We can extend it actually.
So you can inject your existing filter in your controllers, and you can override them. Even you can inject filters into the filter also. So try that. It's a it's a fun. You can extend that definitely.
Can you give about the parameters? Because we are getting parameters here. We are getting only one parameter, right? Then can you pass more parameters?
The first one will be always the reverse true, right? See, the first one will be the input by default. See, even if you see here, sorry, yeah, here. Okay, that when you declare the filter, definitely it should got that.
Are the same filter which we are using in NGDP?
Yes, correct.
So in NGDP also we will get the, we will get.
You can use the filter.
But we'll get the same parameter like only one element will get at a time, or we'll get all the elements.
See, when you are defining custom filter, you have to handle this, right? Definitely there should be one element.
No, when we are doing NGDP,
okay.
So NGDP will have so many values in that object.
It will have that model, right?
That like employees, it has so many.
That model will be captured. That model will come inside. If you write a custom filter for that, the model will come inside.
We have third-party library for custom filters. Like we have element custom UI router that.
Mr. Ram
we need to check. Okay, shall we go to the digest? Okay, so I'm just closing this. Okay, digest controller. Okay, so what I have done here is I have injected $scope timeout and $HTTP. Okay, so the Angular will trigger the digest loop when there is any events or any call, HTTP calls, or even in the timeout also. Okay, and mainly when the model changes, we will see all the scenario. So I'm just see the console log here. I'm just simply loading the page. What happened? Initially, config has been created, digest 123 has been called. Okay. After that, get request success, end timeout, digest, again 2 times digest has been called. See what's happening exactly. See, I am watching the app level digest here. Okay. $scope.$watch function. Basically, there is a controller to distinguish each digest. Okay. Just for the output, it has been written like this. So digest has been called. I am incrementing the counter. So what's happening? One digest is called when I am making the request. This request. So timeout function basically executed after 1 second. Okay. Maybe the timing is very slow. Okay. So if you see here, please see here the console. After 2 seconds, so what happened? Initially, whatever it will run 2-3 times. Okay, leave that. So get request success and end timeout. Get request success is there in the HTTP call. Okay, so after 2 seconds, I am making this request, which is making the HTTP call, and get request success is getting in the console. After that, I am getting the end timeout. You can see here, right? Okay, so this digest called is for each one. When the HTTP is happened, when the timeout is happened. Okay, clear? Getting something right? Okay, so yeah. Now let it be. I have cleared it. So simply on clicking a button also will trigger the digest loop. If I click here, see here. Simply by clicking the button will trigger the digest. And then I have some text here. I am just changing. I have a whatever equal to some text. On button click, it is changed to some other text. This button click is given in the template. When I click it, it will call this method. Okay. Simply I am clicking this. See, digest cycle has been called. Okay. So every button clicks, it will call. Also, I am just typing here. Somebody asked the question on the other side, right? So when I change in the view, it has to get updated in the model. So I'm changing the view now. The model gets updated. So digest is triggering here. Clear? And one more important thing. Yeah. Let me comment this for now. We are going to explain about another concept, that is $apply. Okay. So after 4 seconds, I am seeing message equal to fetched after 3 seconds. Okay. Actually 4 seconds or 3 seconds. So what I am doing here, I am calling scope.getMessage as soon as this file is loaded. So inside this function, again we are giving a 4 seconds time. After 4 seconds time, set timeout. This is a pure JavaScript function. Okay, this is out of Angular context. When you call the timeout, automatically it will call $apply Angular, but set timeout don't have that functionality inbuilt. Okay, so what's happening? There is a scope.message fetched after 4 seconds. Okay, delayed message, I have given message. Okay, you no need to give scope.message like this. Okay, we can directly access this. You got that right? This message is changing after 4 seconds. If you see here, please see here, I am loading again. We will get at the console. Yeah, message fetched after 4 seconds. But what happened in the delayed message? View is not updated. So in this scenario, we need to call scope.dollar. So now if you see, okay, fetched after 4 seconds. Okay. Any question on this? Okay, shall we move to the form validation? Okay, coming to validators.
Dollar digest, it will always keep on watching. You know that JavaScript object.observe, something like that.
Okay, coming to validation part. See, I have a form here. Okay, we have saw that properties, right? $pristine, $valid, invalid and all. So there are two levels, input level and form level. Form level is the parent level. Okay, so see here, this is input 1, my input 2. The model value is my input 1, my input 2. Okay, both are required. Both are required. So I have added, I'm just to check to explain the concept, I have added this here. My form dot my input dot valid. So this $valid is a property of my input. Here also $valid is a property of my input. In the third case, $valid is a property of form, direct form. Okay. So see here, I'm doing that same here. So if since we have given required, okay, it will be expecting mandatory. Required means mandatory, right? So initially everything is false. I am typing something here. For the first input, it became true. I removed it. I am typing something here. For the second input, it is true. but still the form is false. Form is valid form? No, because both the inputs should be given. So unless two inputs, now it became true. So only if you give both the inputs, the form will be true. Okay. So whatever inputs control you give inside the form, everything has to be valid. Then only the form dot valid will be true. Remember, this is very important. Most of the people will confuse in these things. So here I have a register form. I am just, see, initially you have not entered any name. Okay, I am just typing something and deleting something. Now it's showing username cannot be blank. So how it is happened? So if you go here, so first name, this is the first name, right? Where is the bottom? I can't scroll it. Okay. Anyway, the model ng model is first name, and there is some pattern we gave here. If you see, register form is the name of the form. We have gave the name. Register form is the name of the form. Okay. So ng show we know, right? We need to show this error message only register form dot first name. First name is the name of the input field. Okay. Every input field has gone its own name. I mean, we need to declare the name. Okay. So form name dot input name dot pristine. Pristine is something untouched, just freshly loaded. Okay. You have not entered any name. That's how we are getting here. As soon as we loaded, you have not entered any name. So that means pristine is true or false? True. Only if it is true, ng show, right? It will show. Then coming to the second scenario, register form dot first name dot dirty. Okay. And register form dot first name dot invalid. So if these two cases, we have the two choices. See, if we can enter the number, otherwise we can delete it. If it is empty, we need to check username cannot be blank. If it is a number, enter only alphabets. So within that itself, we can have a check like this. Register form dot first name dot. There is another property I forgot to mention about that. Dollar error required. If it is empty, this will be triggered. Okay. If pattern, we are checking the pattern, right? Only the alphabets has to enter. If this pattern fails, this will be triggered. Like this, we can use the combination of validations. Okay, just to explain it, all these are combined together and put. Thanks, Nikita, for helping me in developing this. This page she only created. And then, yeah, the same thing. If you go here, I have touched it. Something has happened, so it became dirty. That's what here. Okay, the dollar dirty property became true. That's why it's showing this. Okay, clear, right? And then this is untouched. You may be confused between untouched and pristine. Okay, so I am just clicking here and checking out. Simple blur will make it that property as true or false. Okay, now it is touched. That's what happening here. Dollar touch, dollar untouched. Okay, and then password, we have minimum character should be 6. Okay, let us see. Yeah, we have checking ng min length, max length, ng max length. So if I enter below 6, it is asking 6. If I enter above 12, maximum allowed is 12. How we are checking that here? So ng min length we gave, ng max length we gave. So we are checking that here. Register form dot, password is the name of the input dot dollar error dot min length max length. So corresponding things will be called. And coming to the last part, I am typing some number which is some text which says invalid because mobile number will be only 10 digit. It should be numbers. We have not checked for this, but for 10 digits we have checked. Yeah, it's become valid now. Okay, max length, it's been 10. Okay, got some idea. Now moving to formatters. Okay, yeah, can you able to see here at the bottom? It gone very okay. Yeah, see, I need I am entering some value 20,000, 25,000 on a particular stage. If it exceeds in the form of 1,45,000, I need in this form. Okay, 239.80 lakhs. This should happen as soon as the page loads, and we should take advantage of the formatters. Okay, I told you, right? Dollar formatter. I'm sorry, it will be in a directive because let me show you. See, we are created this directive. In next session, we will be covering the directives in deep. So just remember this. We have created a directive lakhs formatter here. Okay. So ng model is net worth dot cash. So if you see the directive lakhs formatter, yeah, lakhs formatter. Okay. This is how usually we should give when declaring. You should use the camel case. When we really use that in the view, it should be hyphen and small f. See the difference. Getting right? So hyphen small f should be used in the view. This is a directive I have declared in an app. What happening exactly here is there will be a usually in the directive there will be a link function. We will get scope, element and attributes as a parameters. Okay, like how we get the scope in the controller, we will get here. Both are same scope only. Okay, and element is nothing but whichever element you add the directive, this div, you can access this element inside this function, this element. And attributes, these attributes, other attributes what we have in the element, that also you can access. Usually these three will be there. And this is a special condition when we are using formatters. We need this ng model. Okay, for that we need to use this method require. Okay, forgot about this. It will be detailed coverage will be there in next session. Just remember this ng model, and this I am passing as a fourth parameter, and this has been used here to push my formatter in the framework. So $.formatters is an array. I am pushing that along my custom code to there so that it get executed whenever the changes happening in the Angular model. Okay, so what's happening exactly here is I have given some value where I give the value. Sorry, maybe in a here I give the value net worth cash. Okay, 2398000. So basically what's happening here is there is some logic. We are checking the that value will be available here, scope.cash amount. Okay, if it is less than 0 or less than 999, I mean we are simply showing the same. But if it is there is some logic. Basically this is different format to show the different format. If it is greater than 999, then we are making it to show it as a lakhs. We are adding this. If you see here, 23980 lakhs it is. Okay. If I give some smaller number, it will display as it is. So I don't some big number, 1.11 lakhs. So I'm changing the data now, some other data. Sorry, it's executed. ng click, okay, the same value I gave here. Okay, on simply on ng click, I'm just changing the value here. Okay, that's it. So how this is happening? So that logic scope dot generate view value is called here. Okay, so this is happened inside the formatter, and we are setting the view value here. ng model dot set view value, the updated value. So automatically, if you give this code outside, will it work? Will it work? It won't work. Okay. The one first main thing is when the frame, when the application page loads, the link function will be called only once. That is one thing. And then the advantage of formatter I told, right? Whenever the model changes, this will be get triggered automatically, whatever inside the formatters. So that format is applied here.
Can't we achieve same outside using filters?
Yeah, for simple things we can use filters, but I told you, right, we can have the access to ng model, something there in ng model already. You need to directly access that, and if it has to get updated when the model changes, that time we can use this.
So filters we can use, okay, for very simple items. Filters generally are very small and they are like kind of helper functions. Formatter can do a lot of other things. Okay. And once you create a formatter, you can reuse them all over here. Okay. So think of it, they are different. They have two
But in
different
the
items.
case of just changing in lakhs, I think
No, the example what I gave may be very simple, but very complex things will be there. You have to show the date in some different format or some customized thing.
One question. Is there any formatters for currency? For example, for an Indian currency format or the US currency format. For example, the comma separated values that we get. Is there any Angular has a default format for that, or we have to write it on our own or something like that?
For currency formatting, we already have a filter for currency. So currency filter is there, and in fact, you can specify your own currency symbol as well into that filter. So you can use that for that purpose.
So, yeah, will it format in the same way? For example, the currency will be, for example, if it is Indian rupees and the comma separated value will be of our this thing is 322, right? It will not be like the US format where it is 333.
No. So in that case, you have to write down or extend the currency filter because the comma separation works on comma separation, and I think there is dot separation is also there, but I don't think that Indian separation would be there.
Thank you.
Sure. So for that purpose, like I said, we can use filter also very alternatively if we have a very small logic to build. But if we have importantly a large logic or something which you want to format, not really only simple string, but a complex object as well. So you can use formatters and parsers. for that purpose. So you can think of it like in this way that whatever you cannot achieve through filters, you can jump to formatters to achieve that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's simple. Because simplicity is the key. So if you can think of simple items, then use filters.
There is something called as parsers. That is a reverse way of formatters. In formatter model, we will display the model in different way, but actual model value will be different, right? In the same way, parsers will update the model in a different way, capturing a different input from the view.
So I think we have implemented this in EP, the project. So where they had a requirement of having a field, when you double click on a label, it gets converted into a field, and whatever was there in the label will get loaded into the field. So suppose you had some number with the currency. So when you double click, it will get loaded into the text field so that you can edit. So in that case, we have used parser to convert it into a number, okay, and we load that into the field, and all the comma separation and everything would be removed. And then you can type in any number of your choice, and then you can click out, and it will get converted again back to the currency looking like number, okay, currency number basically. And there we had used formatter. So that was a classic example, and I think that you cannot do logically with filters. Okay. Any other question related to that? This is the first session we are covering with the unmute it then.
Formatter. So it means that in any controller, like inside a module, so whatever, how many controller we are defining, you don't need to add it as an inject. Automatically, you can access that formatter inside that controller.
And that's what. It's basically like we are pushing the code in the framework itself. That.
So don't need to inject it. It's automatically.
Yes, no need.
Yeah, and it can also happen that you do it at the separate file itself, and it will work on separate place itself. Okay, because it's a formatter, it is being inserted to that scope. The scope is important. Okay, once that scope is out, formatter is also out. Anything else?
Can you show me that example? Where we are using pasting of that
Code or the page?
code
Which example?
for this formatter.
Yeah. It's an ng model. Lax formatter is a directive. And the cache amount. Okay. We are passing this cache amount network.cache here.
This cache.
That you will come to know when directive is explained clearly. Okay. Basically, this is we are passing this here. If you see here, cache amount is there, right? So this is mapped with this. Okay. So whatever. So this is handled here. This is like local variable.
Kind of input.
Kind of input. And this is a dollar symbol or I'm sorry, what is this? INR. It's not showing.
No, bootstrap no, is not doing.
Some problem, I think.
It loads from the bootstrap. Okay, any other question? What is the exercise?
We need to figure out.
Okay, so send out an email related to the exercise. So we'll send out an email related to the assessment onto this. and next time onwards she will be doing assessment before the next class. Okay. Hmm. So, so whosoever finishes the assessment, please send an email to presenter. Like in this case, I'll send it to Mary. Okay. So if you don't have a laptop but you have machine, right? So you finish it and send it in a zip format to Naren. Okay, so Naren would be able to see that. Hmm.
Yeah, Shishir, can anything else?
Uh, Thank you so much. Not now. We are pretty much clear about what you have told today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no problem. If you still have anything, please mail me.
sure, sure.
Um,
But Shishir, one thing I would like to touch base on this assessment thing, right? Last time also we have given some practice exercise within the hands-on. The third challenge you could not finish in the session itself. So we have given for offline, so you can carry it out on offline. So I mean, who are the people those who are following it up? Because I'm not really in touch with anyone of them directly. So is there any person who can, maybe touch base with all of them and figure out if they are following it up?
Uh, Basically, what the exercises and all which you have given, right? Almost all guys over here have done the things, and because last time what happened is we missed a little bit of things. So from the videos and all, we just got the things back, and most of the people have done the exercises what they have given.
Okay. So can you ask them to send me in the zip format
Sure, sure, sure,
the
sure,
code of that?
sure.
All right.